So when you were doing the stuff in Tokyo, though, I understand, English is kind of the business language of the world, but what kind of barriers did you have working in outside the U.S.?
Well, so I was in the bond markets, and it was the typically focused very heavily on the American bond market, so U.S. Treasury bonds and so on. And so that was primarily a business conducted in English. So I spoke zero Japanese when I went over to Japan. Did learn quite a bit, enough to be quite good conversationally, but not good enough to use it in business.
Got it.
So I was able to use English in business. And then soon after, I had regional roles throughout the Asia Pacific region. So Australia, New Zealand, and Thailand, and Indonesia, and Singapore, and Hong Kong, and so on. I moved to Hong Kong for a couple of years as well. And so the language never became an issue from the business perspective. Of course, it would have been fabulous to have business Japanese. But I didn't, so I was able to make do with it. But I think that's right, that English is pretty much the international language of high level business, at least, not of all businesses, but of the kind of business I was doing in the bond market. It certainly was.
Yeah, now you speak all over the place, and well, I went to Chinese University in Hong Kong for about 2 weeks on my brother's MBA program, and but I've spoken all over the world, and there's a lot of things that you just wouldn't think about just speaking in the U.S. For instance, I think I was in Thailand or Malaysia or somewhere, and I normally go and shake people's hands. Hey, come on and sit up front, and I try to be really nice. But I would have put the Asian young man in a really bad position because the front row is only for the executives.
Right. It's for the more senior people.
Right.
Yeah.
So he would have been like, he didn't want to offend me, but then he can't go and jump in front of his boss. If I hadn't known